Hi, cuties. I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital Edition. Today is Friday. Yay! May the 5th, 2023. Happy Cinco de Mayo. On a scale of 1 to 10, it is a 10 for me. Let's get into it. Y'all know how it is. Some people gonna get honorable mentions to get to the juiciness. We see Michael and Willow, and they're just talking about how she's going to keep fighting. Then we see Sasha comes and she comforts Nina because she knows this is hard on her. And they know they're not really wanted there, Nina and Sonny, but they want to be there to support, even if they're not wanted. Right. So then Michael comes out and he speaks to Nina, who tells him, "Listen, I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm not here for that." And he says, "No, Willow wants to speak to you because Willow had told him she wanted to speak to Nina." And he says, "Okay." Now Carly and Joss had came through and said Michael's not going to be happy that Sonny and Nina are here. Well, they've been there at other times, so get over it. And so then we see Michael talks to Carly and Joss, and he said, "Well, maybe I shouldn't have let Willow talk to Nina. She's a grown woman. If she wanted to talk to her mama, she could talk to her." I'm sorry, get over it. So then we go and we see Sonny and Sasha talk, and he tells her about, when Mike was sick and how all they did was just waiting. And she tells him, "I'm sure Mike knew it, and this is the hard part, but she's gonna stay optimistic that Willow gives Nina a chance, and that's all they can do is just wait and be, try to stay positive." So then Nina goes in and she speaks to Willow, and Carly reminds Willow she's supposed to be resting. Please, Carly, go ahead and leave. So Willow and Nina start talking, and she tells her, um, that she needs her to do her a favor. They do pleasantries. How are you? How you feeling? Yada yada yada. She says, I need you to do me a favor, and that's ease up on Carly. And Willow just tells her, she wants there to be peace, even if she's not here. And Nina looks away for a second, and Willow's like, "Wow, even after all this, you can't change." Well, she's thinking about something else. It's not always about you, but Nina is thinking about how too late. I already called the SEC on Carly or whatever. And Nina said, she's not the best person, but she's gonna give it a try. And she'll do anything, to give it a try. I said, "Well, you should have asked her this beforehand, sister. You waited too late to ask Nina to do better." So then Michael comes in because of why not, and he tells Nina that Willow needs to rest, and Nina is just crying, and she's like, "If you need anything else, just let me know." And she said, "I just need you to keep your promise, or whatever." So then we go over here when we see Portia and Elizabeth. This is a really pretty picture of Elizabeth, but we see Portia and Elizabeth, and Portia's in her office, upset, crying because she hasn't heard from anyone, and she's concerned about Curtis and Trina. So Elizabeth is there to comfort her, and she just lets her know, Trina is stubborn, but because Portia is complaining about Spencer, I say, "Girl, like, let it go at this point. Just be praying that your daughter comes home safely." But anyways, she's complaining about Trina going after Spencer, and Elizabeth said, "Well, she's intelligent, she's beautiful, and she's stubborn, so she was gonna do what she wanted to do." So then we go over here and we see Trina has called Jordan. Robert and Felicia are there, and they tell her, "Get off the island. There's airstrikes." And then that's when they let him know, Spencer know, that Anna and all them are there, and he says, "I have to go back for my grandmother." And Felicia tells Spencer, "No, no, no, no. Your grandmother would not want you to do that. You, Ace, and Trina, get off the island, get on the boat or the plane, and go ahead and leave." And so they say, "Okay, we're gonna go." So they're leaving, right? So then Trina tells Jordan, "Please tell my mama I love her." She's like, "Okay, cool." So then Trina goes, Trina and Spencer get off the phone, and so Jordan goes and speaks to Portia and Elizabeth, and she lets Portia know that she's talked to Trina, and she's like, "Oh my gosh," she said, they're coming home. They should be home soon, and she wanted you to know she loves you, Portia. And Portia, of course, is just like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for telling me this." And then they say, "Why is it snowing?" And Elizabeth was like, "Well, it happened 3 years ago." And they said, "But this is like a blizzard. I don't know what's going on here." But then they start Portia starts reminiscing about how she'll always see Trina as a little girl. She'll always see her little terrible tooth smile that she started to develop, and no matter what age she is, and you just want to protect your children, and they all understand. It was a nice moment between parents, mothers. It was a real nice moment. So then we see, Holly had told Victor, put him up, stick him up. And so he told her, if you try to shoot me, Lisa gonna be in front of me. And Lisa said, go on and kill me. And she said, what about Willow? He was like, Willow. And Lisa said, I will tell you how to harvest my I said, oh, she gangster with it. Okay. Because she said, I'll give up my life if it means killing Victor. I said, well, okay then. I like that, Lisa. But anyways, so Holly started taunting Victor and telling him, I'm the reason you I don't even know why you want to leave the island. You don't have any heirs and you can't produce any heirs anymore. And so she lets him know that she's the reason that his functions don't function. And Lisa said, do you mean? And she said, mm-hmm. Baby, Victor was so pissed. He found out it was Holly. Said, babe, oh, so that you was trying to give him no more heirs. I don't know why men of a certain age, because you know how men always be like, we can still have children. Well, the Dusties, we can still have children, but the probability that something is wrong with your child is very high. Like, what are you talking about? Victor, you didn't need to try to have no more children, sir. But anyways, so he get all upset and he about to take Holly out because she doesn't want to shoot because Liesl is there, and then Drew Kane comes through and he knocked Victor out or whatever. Child, this was the worst knockout I've ever seen. Not Drew now, but Victor was down, and they said we gotta get. He had that silver case, but Lisa was down too, and they thought they had shot her. Why Victor was able to get up and go, and they didn't even notice he was gone. He was gone. Oh, child. So Holly said, I'm gonna go after Victor because they figured out Lisa's not really hurt like that. She was Lisa woke up mad as heck at Victor, but it was just like she fell, she hurt herself when she fell. That was all it was. They saw the blood. So then Drew was like, okay, we going we're gonna get you home or whatever. And he has a phone. I said, how many phones are there? But anyways, he has a phone and they're calling Carly and them. So he calls Carly, and Nina and them all standing there, and Carly runs in to Michael, and they're like, somebody wants to talk to you. And they're like, hello, and it's Drew, and they were like, oh my gosh, Drew, are you safe? And he was like, yeah. And then and Lisa said, well, I'm good too. Y'all didn't ask. And she said, great, Aunt Lisa. And somebody said in my comments, said, baby, you are absolutely right. Y'all giving Drew all this credit. He ain't do nothing. I don't care. I be tickling myself. He didn't. Drew hasn't really done what like. Cause everybody, Drew's going after Liesl. Drew's gonna get it done. Drew's gonna get it done. I said, baby, y'all need to thank Curtis, cause that's who been whoop. Let's move her forward. So anyway, they coming home, y'all. That's the end with them. So then we see Laura and Curtis, and she says, "Oh my gosh, this is affects the weather. Me, her, and Robert, and somebody else had to stop it last time because it's a weather machine and it was aimed at Port Charles. So that's why it's snowing in Port Charles, because they about to throw them into a whole blizzard. Miko's old machine. And she said, well, I memorized the formula back in the day, and we burned the formula, but I had to study it, so I memorized it. And Robert said he was always afraid for me because he was like, nobody should know this formula, girl. She said, but I still remember it. And so Curtis said, if you get this formula wrong, you gonna take us all out. She said, do you trust me? He said, absolutely. And she did it, and she got it right. I said, well, good for you, because it's been 40 years, girl. I can't even remember my first phone number. Let's move on. So then they run into Holly. Now I don't really remember if they ran into Holly or not, but it felt like it in my spirit that they had ran into Holly, and they told her that Valentine was with Anna was with Valentine. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong on that. But anyway, so then we go over here to Anna and Valentine, and he like, I'm hallucinating. I don't see you, girl. I don't see you. You just a hallucination like Helena. I said, Helena gone. That's all we got with Helena. I wanted her back, you know. But anyways, and he said, and I said, no, I'm really here. I'm really here. And he said, no, you can't be. I love you, and I'm finna die. And then the next thing you know, Anna went in there. I said, girl, that is contagious. Like, you want to die too? And she said, well, there's a 20% chance that I won't catch it. I'm gonna go with those odds. I said, well, you are shot up and you was fighting men and all that. Let's go with those odds too, child. And so she goes in there and they're having their little romantic moment, and she telling him how good of a man he is and all that. I'm gonna move on because that's all it was, y'all. And then Holly comes in and Anna's like, no, you can't be in here. And she says, I have the antidote, because what Victor didn't know is that Liesel had took the antidote. And so that's why Holly had went back to look for Valentine, right? So then we go over here and we see everybody are met up, and Laura and Curtis call Laura calls Robert because she got a phone too, and or Curtis got a phone too. And when they call him, the Portia is there, and they're like, or maybe they call Portia. Heck, I don't remember. It was a lot going on in this episode, y'all. Bear with me. But they called and they were like, you gotta get off the uh you got to get off the island or whatever, and because it was the airstrikes. But then this is before Robert came over. You got so yeah, they had to have called Portia. You got to get off the island because of the airstrikes and everything. But then Robert comes over. He said no, they called the airstrikes off because they had found out that Victor had was not with them. He was actually on the Hunted Star. So when they found out he was on the Hunted Star, they redirected the airstrikes, child. And so when they redirected the airstrikes, they redirected to the hunting store, y'all. So then Spencer and Trina are trying to escape, and they see Victor, right? And so when they see Victor, they say Spencer's like, you got to take Ace. And she said, what? No, you got to stay with me. He said, no, I got to stop my Uncle Victor because he doesn't know that Victor doesn't have the antidote. So he's not going to do nothing anyways. And so he goes after him, and Trina says, okay, but hurry back. So then when he goes, Victor is barking orders. He's like, where my nephews at? And they was like, they gone. And the nanny, he said, I don't care about this nanny, but get this hunt and start moving, baby, because we got to go. So he's leaving, and why the security? Oh yeah, because they was knocked out. So he's got the ship moving, and they're leaving, right? And he hears footsteps, and he said, I didn't want to be disturbing. And Spencer said he's there to stop him. He said, just give me what is it called? The pathogen, and everything will be all right, Uncle Victor. He said, I ain't giving it to you, but Victor had just saw that the antidote wasn't in there, so he was ticked off at Liesel. But he said, I'm not giving that to you or whatever. And so he said, you will have to pry it out of my dead hands. And so I don't know what happened. One minute Victor was standing, the next minute he twirled around, bumped his head on the bar, and fell out. But he not dead though. Spencer said, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. Excuse me, y'all. So then the next thing we see is Spencer getting the pathogen, and then he hears like plane. He hears a noise, like not a plane, but like a noise like something's coming. And so then we see Curtis and Laura, they catch up with Trina and Ace, and they were like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And she was like, I was trying to leave, but Spencer went to chase Victor down. And they said, where is he? And she said, the Hunted Star. And they tell her, no. And Trina was like, we got to leave because the airstrikes are coming. And they said, no, they redirected them. Right? And so they said, where did they redirect him? And they said, the Hunted Star. And Trina was like, he went to get Victor. He's on the Hunted Star. And she was like, you got to call and get him to stop. So before they could even pull the phone out, child, those drones came through, and boom, boom, boom. And so Laura and Trina are just both like, oh no, baby. I was so sad for Trina in that moment. I was sad for Spencer too, because y'all know I love me some Trina and Spencer. But I was so sad for Trina. I said, oh Lord, is y'all gonna have Spencer being dead, and then he gonna have to come back to life? I don't know, child. Y'all tell me what you think. That was General Hospital today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It is the weekend. Be safe, be blessed. If you go out, just be careful. And I will see you Monday for all new episodes of What Happened on the Soaps General Hospital edition. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.